All right, so we're done with our session with Mary today, and she was asking a few questions, making sure she knows how to do bridling and haltering and all that stuff the right way. So we figured we'd go ahead and get this on video, and I'm going to let Mary show you because she's such a fast learner and good student. So one thing that we want to make sure, I'm going to step out and just kind of talk with you, Mary, through it. So one thing we want to always make sure is that your horse's head is tipped toward you. Okay, we know that she's got a little habit of wanting to eat, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what Mary's doing right now is you're kind of just holding her there. You don't want to hold her there because that'll never work. She'll keep pulling on you. So now right there, she's being pretty respectful, but you don't want to have to make her do it. You want to show her where to do it. Okay, so I want her head slightly towards. So just just release her. You don't want to hold her there. Just let her. There, just totally let all the pressure off with this. Now so don't take this off until she's where you want her.
Okay.
See how you're creating movement right there? Right. Okay. So what we want to do is we want to get her head where we want it and release all the pressure. See, we've taught her that the release of pressure is where she's come. So right there, she's relaxed. You have no pressure on her.
Okay.
Now you can go ahead and slip that bridle off and let that just fall out of her mouth. Okay, so if you try to hold her there, you're going to make her push on you.
Right.
Okay, so right here, you can see right here, we're trying to put this all in one step.
Okay.
So go ahead and finish, and then I'm going to show you what I would do. Okay. Now, you didn't do anything wrong there. I'm just going to show you how to make it easier for her to understand.
Okay.
So on the video, if you can see, Mary took the bridle off, which worked out good. She kept her head down and everything, but then she kept her head around her neck, reached down trying to put a halter on while you got the bridle in your hand and everything. So you're trying to cram all this stuff. Meanwhile, the horse is going, I'm not quite sure where I'm supposed to be. Okay. So I'm going to show you from the haltering to the bridling what I would do, and then I'm going to have you do it. Okay. So with the halter, the last thing we want to do is force a horse to stay somewhere. So with her, she likes to get her head down and eat. So I'm just going to keep her head popped up.
Okay.
And I'd stop right there. We don't want to until she stops bending her head down, and I'm bumping her pretty good to let her know that's not okay. So now so we'll bump her back up. See how she wants to go down, but she's thinking twice about it now. Okay, so we've got her now. I like her head, so I'm just going to use pressure on the cheek right here till her head comes over here. See this? I'm not making her do that. This is her. Now, watch this. Now, if in the middle of this, she starts moving her head, I'm just going to go back and say, I just want you to turn your head over a little bit. See this?
Yep.
Okay. I'm not going to do one thing to her. This is her holding it here by choice. Okay. I'm going to pull this off and I'm going to drop it. Okay.
Yep.
So instead of, I don't have anything on her now and she's pulling, so I'm going to get after her a little bit. If she goes to, I'm not going to let her get down there because then I can't pull. So as soon as she goes to do that, I'm just going to pull her back up and then I'm going to release her.
Till she stops.
See, this is a little tug of war right now.
And she's been getting away with that.
She's pretty persistent, so we're just going to keep asking her to stay up here. There, she stayed. Okay. So now what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to put this down here. I am not going to put this on her. I'm going to let her do it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to tip her head towards me. I'm going to hold this out here. And she hasn't learned to hunt it yet, but she will. So I'm not going to just throw this on her to get the job done. There, she dropped her head. Okay. Now see how I'm not holding her anywhere?
So
this is her.
Home in her pen, she's actually trying to put her head in the halter. She'll drop her head around the front of me, and then I just automatically. She's trying to actually do that.
Yep. So always make sure and see how I'm not holding her anywhere. Now, as long as she'll keep her head facing me and not get it up and start fighting it, you don't have to let her, but she'll eventually start dipping her head into that. Okay. So right here, her head's a little forward. It's not bad. She's relaxed, but I'm just going to tip her head towards me. I'm going to reach up like this. As long as she doesn't raise her head, you can just slide that on. She never moved her head. Okay, so the only thing that was different between that and what you were doing is you were trying to hold her there. And that's never going to work because they're claustrophobic animals. So the more you hold them, the more they want to move. So at this point, you watch this. There is no struggle with this at all.
She's just waiting on you now. Yep.
Okay. Now, if she goes back to that, now I've got the leverage. I got the halter on her. See how much less I'm going to have to do to keep her there now? So with her, she's learned that every time you get done doing something, she can duck her head and eat. Yep. So we just need to kind of get her over that part. Okay. So if I'm bridling, you can take the bridle, get it kind of where we want it here. There's a lot of ways to do this. I always just keep it on my arm like this. I'm going to tip her nose towards me. Now, if you have a horse that isn't totally trained yet and likes to walk off, you can always keep this halter around or whatever, and then you can correct them like this. At some point, they'll get to the point where you don't have to worry. See how she finally got that? Yep. Then I can reach down. Just now, if she goes away, I'm not going to put it on. Most people rush and go, I got to get it on there. I'm going to bring her back here. You can pull these up over her head. That gives you, now you've still got her caught. Right. Or you can correct her if she wants to eat. You can correct her right here. So I am not going to move forward with the bridle as long as she's doing that. Okay. So now I'll just tip her head towards me. If she wants to move a little, I'll just follow her. Wait till she stops. Okay. So I'm going to tip her head, slide this on, reach to here. If at any time she tries to move her head away, I'm not going to go forward. I'm just going to, if she moved her head away right now, I would use this to bring it back. Then I'm just going to reach down. See how she rooted away from that? So I won't put it in her mouth. I'll just leave it sitting there until she relaxed right there and accepted it. Okay. And then you can just tuck the ears. You're not reaching, you're not doing anything, and she's got her head here being respectful. Now, if you're 4'9" instead of 6'2", we just put her head down here and let her know. So if we want it lower, every time you put it somewhere and release it, that tells her that's where, look at this. A little kid could bridle her now. Okay. So that's the mistake that you want to avoid, is trying to do it when she's not ready, when she's not in position. Okay. So when you took it off last time, you took it off pretty good, but then when she ducked her head, you started hugging her like this, and then it made her move. So what I'm going to do right here is I'm going to get her head where I want it. No pressure at all. I'll do this without even holding her. Okay, now if she pulls away, I just tip her back, let her drop it. Okay, didn't bang her teeth or anything. Now, if we all know this is so you just go back to this and say, no, I want you to stay here. Then, if this was a halter or bridle, you just go right back to this again. You just hold it there till she relaxes and tips her head to you. Reach down, see how she's tipping. Gonna wait. Now watch how she'll relax her mouth there. So there was no force to get that in her mouth, because what happens, same thing with cinching or anything else, if you do it too quick and they're uncomfortable, they'll start getting worse and worse and worse. So there's never a hurry to do this. Now watch, I'll try to get her down a little bit. So now she's down here. Now watch this, with her head clear down. Okay, so the secret is to get her where you want her before you work. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and let's bring her up, and I'm just going to let you do this whole from the unhaltering to the bridling. So with her, I'll let you hold that. Stay here, kid. Okay, so we'll just, now watch this. See how our first reaction is to kind of move away. Well, wait, now watch. Yep. Okay, now she's starting to hunt it a little bit. Okay. No holding her in place, nothing. She's just standing there. Okay, so let's get her up here just like you're getting ready to go riding. And I'm going to let you do the whole thing. Okay. So there you go, and tip her towards you just a hair. There. She'll get to where she really likes that. Good. See how easy that was to bring her back? Good, right there. Perfect. Now just go slow, just relax. See, everybody wants to get rushy right here, and you want it to be a nice, slow, easy thing. Perfect, Mary. Now, didn't that feel good?
Yes.
Not have her pulling away or putting pressure on you. There. Good job. Okay, so there, you got her bridle, her head never came above your shoulders.
Right.
Okay, so now you can go ahead and just do the same thing and unbridle her. Nice and slow. So you get just a little bit rushy. Just make it a nice, smooth motion. Let her release it. Good. Now, if you want to hand me that, I'll give you the halter. Now, can you tell me why it's so important to have her head face towards you?
So that she whips her head into the halter and so that she's got her attention on me.
She's thinking face towards you instead of walking this way and getting out of it.
Going away from
Yep.
She's paying attention to me.
She's paying attention to you and waiting for you to ask her. Anytime their head, how many times have you heard keep two eyes on you? No. That's why. If their eyes are on you, they'll concentrate on you. If she's looking this way, she's going to bail that way.
Right.
Yep. Now look how she's keeping her head now.
And this is okay where she's got it now.
As long as it's comfortable for you. If it's too high, we just got to teach her to lower her head down a little bit more. And that's an easy thing to do, just like that. Every time she raises above that point, you just put it back down. You don't want to go too low because then you're reaching down to do it. Then I'm
helping her graze.
Yeah, then you're causing grazing problems. Anyway, but that's a pretty nice, easy way to bridle and halter. I guess the saying I would use is let your horse bridle and halter itself. Right. Don't do it. Let them do it for themselves.
Tighten that. Because we don't want it down on her soft muzzle. Right?
No. Now, if you'll notice too, look how respectful she is here. Now.